Welcome to the Financial Edge. I'm Erin Kennedy. Required minimum distributions. Today we talk through 3 strategies to diffuse this hidden tax bomb. Today's guest, Chris Hoffman. Chris is the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, an Atlanta area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful and happy retirement. Chris is also the popular radio show host of Money Unleashed, and Hoffman Financial Group is the official partner of the Georgia Bulldogs. Chris, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's jump right in. What are RMDs and how are they calculated?
Required minimum distribution. So the government allows us to put money into our 401k as an example, pre-tax. We never pay tax on it. We can do that as long as we work. And then there's an age that they choose based on life expectancy tables where they're going to require us to take it out. Now, their intent is for us to completely remove all of the funds and pay taxes on our entire 401k or IRA balances by the time we pass away. Doesn't always happen, but that's the way they design the percentages. So from the first year until 10, 20, 30 years later, those percentages grow.
Right.
So you may be in a position where you have a tax bomb or get a big tax bite because your money should be growing and the percentage that you need to take out keeps increasing year over year. So it's something to take advantage of when you're younger, but prepare for when you're in your mid-50s and get ready before retirement or in the first few years of retirement. Plan around how to avoid tax bombs and getting overly taxed later in life.
Right. And so let's show everybody the new RMD age table, because this changed following the passage of the Secure Act.
That's right.
They essentially let you get older before you start taking them if you were born in 1960 or later. People were like, oh, hey, this is good news, but it might not be.
Yeah, so this table strikes me as a little bit counterintuitive. It looks good. The fact that if you were born at 1960 or later, you can defer until 75. But what if 70 or 80% of your money is in that pre-tax 401k? You're going to need to use it. Now, that's okay. As long as you're 59 and a half or older, you won't get a penalty on pulling it down. It may actually help you to absorb less of a tax bite later in life when those percentages, the requirement that you need to take out grows. So I don't believe everybody can afford to wait until they're 75 to pull their pre-tax IRA down, but it gives us the option of controlling it. We like that control.
So now let's talk through those 3 strategies. The first would be to start taking those RMDs as early as possible at 59 and a half.
Yeah, so that involves a full financial plan process. So we've got to look at, is it in our best interest to bite off smaller pieces of it earlier on? Or is it in our best interest to defer it completely and pull it down later? It's not just based on the size of your pre-tax account. It also depends on other assets that you have available that you can pull from. But it is part of the full financial plan analysis that we do for everybody who calls.
And next, we have a visual to show people how this works is a strategy known as Roth conversions. Where you essentially pay your taxes up front, but then you get tax-free money forever.
Yeah, and so I think it's oftentimes overlooked. The fact that you're working, it's out of sight, out of mind. If you get taxed additionally on that contribution, you still are working. You're still regenerating that income every month. So it most likely will not be missed, but it can help you tremendously later in life to have a tax-free bucket to pull from. So what I find is, since they started the 401ks in the 80s and there was only pre-tax contributions available, no companies had Roth 401ks. That's relatively new. So now you're able to balance it and actually pay the taxes up front, and that creates more balance between your pre-tax deferred money and your tax-free money, which is the most powerful money for all of us. And it also calms down the client in retirement, because they don't have to worry about what happens to income tax levels. That they're out of it. It's for the working world. For your investments, it would be nice to collect some tax-free income or tax-free distributions from your assets.
And the last strategy is a qualified charitable distribution, also known as a QCD. Can you explain how this works?
Yeah, so for high net worth clients that have a lot of pre-tax money, it's becoming less favorable to leave that to our heirs, meaning our children and grandchildren. Why? Because the Secure Act mandates that we must remove it, take it out, and pay taxes on it in a 10-year period of time. So we've seen more and more in our planning with our clients the desire to leave some of that money to a charity. If you gift the charity your RMDs, you can literally take shares of stock that equate to the number you're responsible to remove and move it to the charity. It bypasses you. You don't pay tax on it, and you're able to give a full gift to somebody who doesn't pay taxes.
Right.
So great way for high net worth clients to get out from underneath a tax bite on RMDs.
Right. Much more efficient than putting in the collection plate.
That's true. And hopefully larger amounts.
Yes, hopefully. I like that one because it is such a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
And if you can just quickly touch on those penalties if you miss your RMD payments. I know you are militant about making sure your clients pay them when they're due.
Yeah, that's a no-no. So two things to understand is you can't take money out of your pre-tax IRA before 59.5. You'll get a 10% penalty on that. And if you do not take the required minimum distribution, whatever you don't take and you should have taken is subject to a 25% penalty. We don't do penalties at Hoffman Financial Group, so just know that and calculate it properly. And it's collecting the value of all of your pre-tax IRAs on December 31st of the previous year, and you can take the RMD from any account you want to. If you have 4 different IRAs, you don't need to take a little bit out of each one of the 4, you can pick which one serves you best that particular year. That involves some strategy sessions with your financial advisory team to know which ones to pull from and which ones to leave where they are.
Right. And just to wrap this up, it's such a common misconception. You and I talk about it often. We assume we're going to be paying less in taxes when we are retired, but that is just not always the case. And it's these RMDs, I think, specifically that throw people off, which is why we need to plan for that now.
Yeah, well, RMDs are the worst tax. They're income tax. When you move toward retirement, start planning and thinking and talking with your financial advisory team about, I do not want to pay income tax. I earned this money already. I've already paid taxes in my 20s and 30s and 40s. I've contributed to Social Security. I've paid federal and state taxes. So decoupling from that word income tax is a key planning process that we take all of our clients through. Capital gains tax, we're okay with that. We're also okay with tax-free, because that means we get all of the money.
Right.
But you've got to watch that pre-tax money when it's taken out in RMDs or even before your RMD ages. You have to pay income tax on it. And income tax is talked about tremendously. The question is now, is this the lowest it's going to be for the next 5 or 10 years? Take that risk off the table and start to address it now.
Absolutely. Chris, thank you so much.